What is happening, all you JEFFERSCRAFTers out there? Man, it's good to be back with you guys again. Today is the long-awaited part 9 of TrixyBlox Ultimate Survival World, and man, it's going to be a good one, I'm sure. He worked on the Taiga biome in this one, and I hear that there's going to be some Viking elements to this one and some inspiration from the Vikings. You know, I'm so excited about this, and I haven't seen it yet. Of course, I wanted to wait and watch this with you guys. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing, guys. So what do you say? Let's get to it. All right, you guys, here it is in all its splendor. I hope you're as excited to see this as I am. What do you say? Let's do this, huh? Here we go.
For the past 365 days, I've been transforming everything in Minecraft to create the ultimate survival world. After more than a year working on this project, we've transformed all of these biomes, and now we've only got the Taiga and Snowy Mountains remaining in the overworld, as well as the Nether in the end to transform. Many sleepless nights and hundreds of hours have gone into this video alone. So get ready for the most extreme transformation so far as we head into the Taiga.
Hell yeah.
The Taiga biome is one of the most popular biomes in the game, and it features everyone's favorite block type, spruce wood. We're going to combine aspects from the Taiga and Mega Taiga biome to create the most immersive and atmospheric forest possible. To do so, we're going to break up the landscape with some rivers and lakes and upgrade the trees to add plenty of variation. Of course, we'll add in some custom rocks and bushes to fill out the forest floor, and as an added bonus, create some fallen trees that have been ripped up from the ground.
Oh, awesome.
For the theme of the Taiga—
Wait, I got to interrupt him, you guys. Man, I can't wait for this. You know what? I mean, it's hard to say at this point which one is my favorite, you know, which, I mean, it's all together going to be amazing. So I guess it doesn't do much good to choose favorites, but this one's going to be so cool. I just can't wait. I love the Taiga biome, you know. Ooh, here we go.
Taiga transformation. We're going to be taking lots of inspiration from Viking and Norse mythology to create our own fictional fantasy race. Starting by upgrading the Taiga's vanilla village. We're going to include a grand feasting hall, various profession buildings suited to the theme of the biome, such as the leathersmith and weaponsmith, a stave church and giant runestones where the citizens can worship,
a large
war horn to alert the town in the event of an attack, large walls situated between weaponized ballista watchtowers surrounding the entire village, with a network of fire beacons leading through the mountain range to call to aid from its sister village, the coastal outpost. And it doesn't end there. The coastal outpost will feature a pillager outpost transformation, and we'll be turning it into a Viking-style lighthouse. We'll have some cliffside housing, and expansive fishing docks across the shore of the island, and Viking-inspired longboats venturing across the seas of the USW to distant lands to stir up some trouble or nab some loot. And lastly, hidden deep within the mountain range is the Dragon Training Arena. This was where our Vikings trained and tamed their army of now deceased dragons, and it's going to feature a large round arena, some grandstands from which the village folk observed training, battles, and now sporting events, a watchtower, dragon training platforms to assist the dragon tamers, and lastly, the home of the dragons, their very own nesting cave. Believe me when I say this is the biggest transformation in the Ultimate Survival World. So I'm not going to keep you waiting anymore. Let's get building.
Do it, buddy.
To get started with this massive transformation, I obviously had to do some terraforming to make a really epic backdrop.
Oh man, look at the river.
Biome. Luckily, when I created this map with World Painter, I was able to lay the foundations of a mountainscape. But there was definitely some tweaking required to get things prepared for this village.
Look at how it just
to fit in with everything
transforms everything.
And so, the best place for this village seemed to be on the biome border, just on the edge of the Taiga and Snowy Mountains. Vikings actually skied for fun, and they even had a god associated with snow and skiing. So we thought it'd be fitting to give our own clan easy access to the slopes. With the main terraforming complete, it was time to add some rivers and lakes to break things up a bit and make the landscape a little more interesting. So I added some rivers between the mountain peaks and some lakes around the main valley of the biome.
Ooh, that's nice.
Next up, I created a bunch of assets to add to our environment. I built lots of conifer tree
custom trees, brother.
As varying the structure, height, and materials of the trees really helps to make the environment look more realistic and dynamic. I also built a wide range of boulder variants to scatter around, along with a few fallen trees, which should help to make this world super immersive and fun to explore.
Wow, hold on, I just gotta say, look at that. That is, let's see, that's 10 different variants of trees that he made, and that's not including, you know, the rocks and all that. So man, that's so cool, man. Nice job.
And finally, I whipped up some smaller shrubs to dot around, which were the final addition to my little environment asset palette. And so, I placed the various Taiga assets throughout the biome, and I'm not gonna lie guys, this part is always very tedious. But the results are definitely worth it. I tried to add the assets in little clusters, since this is a pretty common sight in the real world, and honestly, it just reminds me of a Bob Ross painting.
Yeah,
As
it looks
you can
good.
see, this place is looking picturesque already. Plus, I may or may not have hidden a little cabin for Bob Ross somewhere in the biome.
Cool,
I'll let
dude.
you guys discover that for yourselves when the download releases in a couple months.
Bob Ross cabin. Ooh, man, look at how beautiful that is. It looks
And
real
that's our
almost.
blank canvas primed and ready for our largest village yet. Let's get planning. Now obviously, everything in the USW is completely fictional, so we took the opportunity to combine some inspirations and create a fantasy village with a bunch of features including lots of house variants and profession buildings, a grand feasting hall, a stave church and graveyard, giant rune stones, a large war horn, walls, watchtowers and ballistas, and a network of fire braziers leading to the coastal outpost.
Ooh, I'm getting chills, dude.
I've given myself a ridiculous amount to do, so we better get into it. Just like I always do,
I'm so
I
crazy.
planned out the village with wool to make sure that the layout worked nicely. As you can see, there is a lot going into this village, and a lot of thought went into it. One of the trickiest parts of these kind of projects is working out exactly where you want things to be. So making a plan like this is a real lifesaver. Plus, it's super satisfying to watch afterwards. So with the plan complete, I set out our vanilla houses ready for their upgrades, and then got to work on 8 different house designs. And these are literally just the smaller buildings. I really wanted to make sure that this village had lots of variation. Sometimes it makes sense to paste in a similar variety of buildings to create a more uniform looking village, but it really depends on the type of community
deep slate and calcite. Love
this
it.
village plays host to a lively bunch known as the Fafnir clan. If you're into mythology, you may recognize our inspiration for the name. In Norse mythology, Fafnir is a dwarf who turned on his family in pursuit of treasures, turning into a ferocious dragon to guard his riches.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Similarly, the Fafnir clan are actually a villager-pillager hybrid turned on a subrace of their own people, the dwarves. That's right, the USW's dwarves who now live underground in their deep dark city
that
were
was
previously
beautiful
a
too.
part of the Fafnir clan. But in contrast to the Norse myth of Fafnir, it was the humans of the clan who got greedy and turned on their dwarven counterparts. Anyhow, now that I've given you guys the first of many snippets of lore, you can see that I've settled on a building style that sort of combines fantasy, medieval, and Viking elements. I had a blast adding all of the little details, like the dragon heads in the peaks of the curved rooftops, and the decorative banners lining the walls. It was a really fun challenge creating these houses on a smaller scale, although I'd love to do some more large-scale fantasy medieval builds in the future.
Wow, look at that place, man. That is cool.
And with all of these houses built, it's time to place them in. I love all of the little details in these buildings. They make a great start to the village, and it's already coming to life. Next, I tackled the place of worship for this biome, which was inspired by a Nordic stave church. Now, as you guys know, we've tried really hard to include lots of different cultures and places of worship throughout the series.
Amazing.
If you haven't seen your favorite yet, then we'll try to cover it in our next Ultimate Survival World. Anyway, you might be wondering why we took inspiration from the stave church. Well, as you can see, it's an extremely interesting building to look at.
I love the deep slate.
It ties into these Nordic roots that we've been so inspired by. In fact, we've created a sort of hybrid religion for this biome, which also draws on elements of Old Norse paganism, as well as Viking culture. One of the things Steph and I enjoy most about this project is appreciating different cultures and beliefs while creating something
that's cool,
fictional.
man. Look at that place.
We learned so much in the process. And this building was really fun to create, particularly on a diagonal axis. With that iconic tiered exterior complete, I got to work on the inside, decorating the interior with some simple seating, lighting, and pulpit to wrap things up before setting the building in place at the back of the village. As you can see, it's a real statement piece.
Yeah, that's amazing. Great job, Trixie. Great job. Love the candles. Beautiful. It's alive, man.
Next to our place of worship, I quickly whipped up a graveyard on the other side of the river. This was another choice inspired by Norse mythology, as the river, known as Ugjul, is said to separate the living from the dead. Moving on to something a little bit more cheery, I made a start to the Grand Feasting Hall, where the Fafnir clan would gather for banquets and answer to their leader and mightiest shield maiden, Queen Lagertha. She's also inspired by a Viking legend, which tells tales of her as both warrior and ruler of what we know now as Norway. And so, with the exterior complete, I hopped inside to create an epic banquet hall, and of course a throne for Queen Lagatha, adding lots of decorations to liven things up.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
I set the feasting hall in place and made some alterations to the surrounding area, adding some staircases and bridges to connect up pathways and make things accessible.
And then the trees, right?
As you can see, the Fafnir clan enjoy many a feast in their grand feasting hall.
That is awesome.
Wait, hang on a second. Is that Thor pleading with Queen Lagatha? I
Yeah,
think
it's
he must
Thor.
have stepped into the wrong filming set today.
It's Thor, man.
Next up, it's the fisherman's house. And as you can see, I decided to make the most of these buildings on a diagonal.
Like I said, the
clearly
calcite
love to
is
torture
awesome.
myself with extra work. Anyway, obviously our clan lives in a pretty harsh environment, so they can't easily grow crops. Instead, they keep a lot of livestock and do lots of fishing, keeping their equipment and supplies in this building, where they also prepare the fish for the local market. And that's our next profession building complete. I'm loving the mini Viking rowboats. If only
It's
vanilla
looking
Minecraft
good.
boats looked more like this.
Ah, yes, the cinematic. It's looking good, man. Just gotta add some trees,
So we're
of
now
course.
moving on to the weaponsmith,
I wonder
which
if he
actually
is.
became a bit of a mixture of professions. What can I say? This particular villager has many talents. Some of the Minecraft professions really fit nicely with one another. So I decided to make this building a sort of weaponsmith toolsmith hybrid.
Look at that.
I also included a banner design
There's
out
banners.
front to sort of look like two swords. They
That's
kind of look
cool.
like scissors actually, but maybe this villager is also the local hairdresser. Who knows? And with our multi-talented villager's
is
house
awesome.
complete, I pasted it down. This place looks pretty cool actually. I might just have to pay this villager a visit when I'm next in need of a haircut.
Awesome, dude.
Another profession combo I thought suited each other nicely was the leatherworker and armorer. As I mentioned before, the clan keeps lots of livestock and they've got to wrap up to keep warm in the harsh winters. So they take their leather and wool to the villager who lives here. And so I finished up the leatherworker and armorer building by incorporating a cloth canopy, as I wanted to somehow indicate that this villager essentially makes the whole clan's clothes.
Nice.
And with our second combo profession building done, I placed it down
Ooh, some
and created
statues.
a little market square containing lots of stalls and a tiny axe-wielding Viking statue in the middle of the fountain.
Ooh, that looks so good. He has trees in there, huh? Yep. No, that looks so
Next
alive.
up, it's time for the longhouse. Taking further inspiration from the Vikings, I decided to build a longhouse instead of a farm, since the Vikings often keep their animals inside with them rather than having a designated barn building. So I created this hull shape where the Fafnir clan can snuggle up to their animal buddies during the cold nights. So I finished up the longhouse and set it down before
That's
making
beautiful.
a start on the village's sacred worship sites, the giant rune stones.
Oh,
Inspired
cool.
by the practices of Norse paganism, Steph and I thought that it'd be a really cool addition to have a few rune sites around the village etched with various Viking runes, symbolizing aspects of life that the Fafnir clan deemed most important. We included runes for protection, joy and luck, and I'll give you guys the challenge for translating the rest for yourselves. You may also have spotted the symbol of Gungnir, the Spear of Odin, another Norse mythology reference, and a nod to the dwarves of the USW, who forged the Fafnir clan's most powerful weapons.
Oh, wow, look at that place.
Obviously our clan needs a little more protection than just their runestones. So I had to create some watchtowers which will later be connected by a large wall surrounding the entire village. And you may remember me mentioning that the clan trained dragons to fight alongside them, and they weren't the only race in the north with backup. Without spoiling too much of the next chapter, let's just say the Fafnir clan was forced to weaponize its border with ballistas to defend against threats of the giant winged variety. The War of the Dragons was a bloodbath, and that may just explain the giant dragon skull left behind in the savannah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I moved on to decorations, creating a berry bush patch, a pumpkin wagon, a small cart, a bench, and some fire braziers to light everything up. I then redesigned Minecraft's village bell as a giant war horn, ready to warn the villagers of danger approaching over the mountain. And of course the horn is functional, so you can annoy the poor Fafnir villagers to your heart's content.
Nice, dude.
And so, to finalize the main
There's the
village,
wall.
Steph and I placed hundreds of decorations throughout the area, pasting in trees and rocks, setting up the market square with shops, placing the pumpkin wagons, custom berry bushes, barrel piles, and more. Meanwhile, I finished up the exterior wall, adding in the watchtowers and connecting things up with a walkway for the patrolling guards.
Wow, that's amazing, brother. I'm just in awe.
And finally, I added some more runes to the 4 banners on the watchtowers, which I'll leave for you guys to translate and let me know if you've worked out their meaning in the comments. Then I added in the front gate, which just about wraps up the main village of our Fafnir clan.
Oh yeah, man, amazing, dude. Look at the dragons.
Now, since the Fafnir clan's factions are separated by a mountain range, I thought what better way to send a signal than a network of fire braziers in a similar fashion to the warning beacons of Gondor from Lord of the Rings.
Cool, dude.
And so, with our beacons built, I positioned them throughout the mountainscape, connected with a rocky pathway, winding between the mountains and towards the coastal outpost. Now, while this area is connected to the main village, it functions as its pillager outpost counterpart. This is where the clan set sail to explore and pillage distant lands.
That is so
we're going
awesome.
to include the main outpost tower that also functions as a lighthouse, and some cliffside housing for the pillagers. We're going to include the large fisherman building that we previously created for all of our local fishermen, a network of several docks lined with several fishing boats, and of course, some classic Viking longboats to really complete our harbour. If you guys have been subscribed to the channel for a while, you may remember my PewDiePie world transformation. Well, I nabbed the longboat design I created for that, making some updates including a symbol on the sail inspired by the Vegvisir, an Icelandic stave said to guide travellers through rough weather. With lots left to do, Steph and I got to work on the coastal outpost, where the Fafnir clan start all of their pillaging excursions. I placed in the fisherman's house design from the main village and set up a small dock, added some stilted houses to the mountains and made some pathways to connect everything. I then added some platforms, built some piers and added some houses near the coastline.
Meanwhile, how he does
Steph
that.
added some trees and decorations around until we eventually turned to the pillager outpost itself. Now, you may remember me transforming the pillager tower earlier in this series and using the same structure for each outpost, making alterations based on the biome's theme. So I took one of the pillager towers and we made some tweaks, setting it up as a sort of lighthouse for the port. And that just about completes the Fafnir clan's coastal outpost. And
nice, man. That is awesome. Look at that. Look at that. That looks so real to me, you know? I mean, I know it's Minecraft, but wow.
With our coastal outpost complete, it's time to make our way through the mountain range to get started on that dragon arena. This arena was where the clan would raise and train their dragons, later becoming a venue for grand sporting events. So we need to start with a large round platform featuring the symbol of Gungnir, a grandstand seating area for the village folk, a watchtower to oversee the arena, dragon training platforms to give some elevation to the dragon tamers, and a dragon nesting cave off to the side of the arena.
Yeah, like how to train your dragon, dude.
I made a large round platform in the valley and etched in the symbol of Gungnir, which you may also remember from earlier. It is said to be associated with power, protection, and authority, which is the perfect trio for our dragon arena. Steph then took some of the dragon remains from the Bone Tribe and positioned them into the ring, since this is the biome where those dragons actually resided. But we'll save all those details for the mini-movie series. Meanwhile, I whipped up a basic grandstand in the rock, added a watchtower from the main village, and built some platforms, which the clan's trainers would use during dragon training exercises. I added some finishing touches, including of course some battle damage, while Steph built the dragon's nesting cave at the edge of the arena. And to finish off, I created a pathway into the mountains and added a giant chain left broken alongside the dragon's remains.
Oh, that's
Clearly
cool.
The last dragons had a bit of a rough time. And that just about finishes off this little fighting arena. I can only imagine all the training exercises and epic battles that took place here before the dragons were wiped out.
Wow, that's cool, dude.
Now that the Taiga transformation is all wrapped up, let's take a look at everything that we've built in this crazy transformation.
Yes, man. Cinematic. Ooh, I'm getting so excited, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be amazing. Yes, yes it is. No doubt about it. Oh, I love that. I think that's my favorite part right there, the outpost. amazing, guys. There's Thor. Well done. Well done, sir.
And with that, the Taiga biome is complete. Steph and I...
All right, guys. Wow. I'm in awe. Great job, TrixyBlox, man. I mean, if I wasn't already subscribed to you, I would definitely subscribe. But I already am, so, you know. Anyway, guys, yeah, I just should say that he is almost done. Like I say that, it seems like I say that every time. But this, you know, he's getting so close. What do you say? The Nether, the end, and the Snowy Mountains, I think is all that's left. And then, you know, when that is done, we can actually download this and play it. And I'm going to do a series on this. I hope you guys are going to tune in and watch that. But I hope you enjoyed this together with me. I love these episodes. I already can't wait for the next one. We'll see you guys later, okay? Have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace.